internet does not lie. You know.
Newsflash, the internet does lie. So happy to announce, Abigail Burrowes, aka Neo Brown, that your article on motherhooddiaries.com was removed. All of them, all 3 of them. So congratulations. I know this is a huge win for me, as I've been trying to get your article removed from her website for years now, and it's finally been taken down. So I'm going to pat myself on the back for that a little bit. Yeah, feels good that people won't be able to see your article when they, research cryptic pregnancy or pregnant with negative tests and things like that. Your article is not going to pop up. It's great news. I do want to say that I uploaded this video on Sunday night, and today is Tuesday morning that I'm editing this video. And I want to say that this woman she really shows her true colors in the comments that she leaves on this video. If you look through them, all the comments on there are basically her. There's like 1 or 2 other people that are commenting that aren't her, but she basically made a bunch of profiles and then left a bunch of comments. And some of them are quite hateful and they're threatening. So it's concerning. At the end of last year of 2022, a book about cryptic pregnancy was self-published by a well-known name and self-proclaimed expert in the cryptic pregnancy community and in cryptic pregnancy, Neo Brown. I've done 2 videos talking about this backwards and threatening book, and I'll link them in the description of this video, as well as link an email interview video I did with the person, Neo Brown, I did some years back. I'm not concerned with the individual women highly involved in this belief or the community itself, like the individual women. I'm not concerned with like how they live their lives and things like that, but I am concerned with correcting the lies behind the belief itself. The belief of pregnancy of years, simply put, is misinformation, and it's dangerous. So I recently found out the real name of the writer of this book. I found out the real name for the alias Neo Brown, and I made a video all about it. I uploaded it before this one. I guess I'll include that link in the description as well. So I'll be using that name, the name of Abigail Burrowes, instead of the alias Neo Brown that she used to self-publish her garbage book. So let's dive into this video. The real truth about cryptic pregnancy. What is real cryptic pregnancy? Simply put, it's a pregnancy that the woman is unaware of. A real cryptic pregnancy is when a woman doesn't find out she is pregnant until she's 20 weeks pregnant or up until delivery. In a real cryptic pregnancy, there is no obvious symptoms that set off the chain of events that result in discovering that the woman is in fact pregnant. The woman produces little to slow rising HCG, and so the pregnancy can go undetected for months and can possibly even go unconfirmed for the entire 37 to 42 weeks of the pregnancy until the woman gives birth to the unexpected baby. Abigail, the writer of this dangerous book, wants the readers to accept and believe and share what a cryptic pregnancy is not. A cryptic pregnancy is not an abnormal pregnancy that requires spiritual work of some kind on part of the mother for the pregnancy to then turn normal so the baby can then be born. A cryptic pregnancy is not an exclusively HCG negative pregnancy. A cryptic pregnancy is not a pregnancy that is consistently or commonly negative for HCG. A cryptic pregnancy is not a pregnancy with the absence of HCG and the belief that one is still pregnant. A cryptic pregnancy is not a self-conceived pregnancy or a pregnancy that lasts for years or a pregnancy that results from energy loss because of feeling pregnant with negative pregnancy tests. A cryptic pregnancy is not a pregnancy that was the result of an alien abduction or a pregnancy that doesn't show up on ultrasound. A cryptic pregnancy is not a pregnancy with consistently negative ultrasounds for years upon years upon years upon years. A cryptic pregnancy is not a pregnancy with a slow-growing baby or a baby with a slower heart rate. A cryptic pregnancy is not a pregnancy where the baby stops growing for weeks or months at a time and then starts growing again. or a pregnancy that makes itself so the baby cannot be seen or is hiding because of scar tissue, a tilted retroverted uterus, or intestines blocking the view of a baby. A cryptic pregnancy is not a pregnancy that allows the woman to continue to ovulate. A cryptic pregnancy is not a pregnancy that allows a woman to continue to menstruate. A cryptic pregnancy is not a pregnancy that needs certain herbs to turn normal so the baby can then be delivered, or a pregnancy that shows itself, then hides, then shows itself, then hides, and so on. A cryptic pregnancy is not a pregnancy that requires the mother to develop psychic abilities or to get psychic readings for the baby to be born. A cryptic pregnancy is not a pregnancy that costs millions of dollars. A cryptic pregnancy is not a pregnancy that is hidden by God or any other entity. A cryptic pregnancy is not a pregnancy doctors refuse to acknowledge or confirm. And a cryptic pregnancy is not a pregnancy doctors are trying to keep secret. A pregnancy of years, a pregnancy and a baby that cannot be seen on ultrasound after multiple scans, a pregnancy that comes and goes, a pregnancy that stops and restarts is simply a delusion because these kinds of pregnancy experiences have never been observed or recorded to occur historically, scientifically, medically, or biblically, except in a woman who is or has experienced a false or phantom pregnancy. The mind and body are undoubtedly connected. This connection has been observed historically, scientifically, medically, and even biblically. This mind-body connection is very powerful, and sometimes this connection can be misinterpreted and misinterpret sensations and symptoms within the body depending on the person's individual psyche. This leads me directly to my next topic. False and phantom pregnancy is the appearance or belief that you are experiencing a baby when you are actually not pregnant. The person experiences subjective or objective signs and symptoms commonly associated with pregnancy. Men can also experience this condition called Couvaide syndrome. The person experiencing the false pregnancy can have many, if not all, of the symptoms of pregnancy, including fetal movement, with the exception of an actual fetus. The people who experience false pregnancy are generally not crazy apart from the delusion of pregnancy. These individuals can continue to socialize and function normally apart from the subject of their delusion, and generally do not behave in an obviously odd or bizarre manner. This isn't true for all the cryptic pregnancy community, but for majority of it is. So I stick with the statement that the person experiencing the false pregnancy is generally not crazy. The most recent developments in false pregnancy, and something worth mentioning as more people opt to get majority of their content online, someone diagnosing themselves as pregnant using information gathered during an online search has become more acceptable by society in recent years. And in these cryptic pregnancy support groups, it is strictly encouraged. The search for terms such as cryptic pregnancy symptoms, am I pregnant with negative tests, negative pregnancy tests but still pregnant, searching these things unfortunately lead the confused and impressionable person at least once to the abusive and cruel endless cryptic pregnancy website, better known as the Gilmore Foundation, and related years pregnancy support groups on Facebook, and now the disgusting Cryptic Pregnancy Files book by Neil Brown, aka Abigail Burrowes. This leads me directly to the problems with the theory, not the women in the community who believe and defend this online belief, but the problem with the belief of the cryptic pregnancy of years. Like the problem with the belief itself, or the endless unseen cryptic pregnancy these experts and the women convinced that they are pregnant for years preach about. The problems, Abigail, with this online belief or concept. As searching for online medical advice has become normalized in the last 10 years, and since 2020, going online and receiving medical care from a doctor via a Skype call is something so many people do. Using the internet has become the norm, especially in medical diagnosis and treatment, with the push of online therapy. What used to be discouraged, which was going online for personal medical diagnosis, is now encouraged as revolutionary and advanced technology, even by some doctors. Many people go to groups, websites, and Google for self-diagnosis and self-treatment. This has been accepted for all conditions, including, but not limited to, pregnancy. This goes without saying that this is very dangerous and a habit I do not support whatsoever. I do not support online diagnosis of any kind, and this includes from a licensed medical doctor via a Skype call. In my opinion, a doctor cannot appropriately and efficiently examine and diagnose a patient without laying their hands physically on them for a physical examination at some point during the process of diagnosis. Pregnancy itself, pregnancy confirmation requires at the very least a positive ultrasound, so an in-person exam needs to have taken place for the confirmation of pregnancy to be appropriate and justified. Without a positive ultrasound scan, a pregnancy scam can easily take place, and this leads us right into the second problem with the theory of pregnancy of years. The theory of cryptic pregnancy of years supports the scams in Africa and other countries, as well as promotes the dangerous and disgusting practice of human trafficking, child trafficking, and baby farms with the use of a pregnancy scam in the name of cryptic pregnancy. This dangerous book and the dangerous belief that supports, and the books that supports this belief, like the one we are discussing right now, give these expert scammers and con artists power because they now have someone else talking about this dangerous theory, making it seem real and legitimate. So this book gives these con artists a reason to practice this. They can give a woman this book, say, look, a pregnancy of years does happen. You should pay for it. And then that woman gives them millions of dollars. And then they go, and because they have this baby farm of all of these women that they are raping and being impregnated, they take the baby from them after years and say, oh, look, and present it as her biological child when it's not her biological child. So any book that supports a pregnancy of years is simultaneously supporting human trafficking and baby farms in Africa. That's just how it goes. These expert con artists and now writers like Abigail Burrowes, aka Neo Brown, want the money from these cons, yes, but they also desire the glory of making an infertile woman pregnant. They want praise from the community for healing a woman's body with their special concoctions and creating life within her when she was unable to do so for herself. This idolization, praise, and worship also builds interest in the community, which by word of mouth spreads this dangerous and disgusting practice as real and trustworthy, and a trustworthy alternative when a woman is unable to conceive a baby naturally. This is a very sad coincidence, and it's a very sad situation for women involved in the baby farms and the babies that are taken from their mothers and sold to the next cryptically pregnant woman to pass as their own biological child. This is so wrong. These con artists like Abigail Burrowes, the one that wrote this self-published book, want to be idolized and showered with money for their secret information and miraculous ability to make an infertile woman pregnant with a special kind of baby that takes much longer to develop. Abigail Burrowes might not be actually giving, I'm not saying she's not, because she might be, but I'm speculating that she's not giving these women in the community actual herbs to induce these pregnancies, but she is giving them the words of encouragement and actually saying, yes, you are pregnant. Yes, you are pregnant. And that's inducing a false and phantom pregnancy. It's exactly the same as the con artists in Africa who give the woman the concoctions, because it's going to trigger the same mind-body connection. It's still going to trigger all the symptoms of pregnancy, even though the woman isn't actually pregnant and there is no baby inside of her uterus. Many overlook the important fact that an influencer online, or in this case, expert, midwife, healer, pastor, and now writer, having supporters or appearing to have supporters. If Abigail had supporters, she wouldn't need to make up these profiles that I'm going to show you here, but appearing to have supporters or followers doesn't prove that you are undeniably trustworthy or the information that you present is even remotely true. Which leads me and leads us in this video into the next topic. The online cryptic pregnancy experts and con artists in Africa, like the author of this disgusting book, want to be idolized for having and sharing this hidden and secret information about pregnancy that not even doctors or scientists know about or are willing to acknowledge. It is common sense that having this secret information gives these so-called experts a feeling of self-importance, because without them, this secret information would be lost forever. It would be lost forever because it's made up. True things exist without belief. Sharing this secret information in a book or online gives writers like Abigail Burrowes, aka Neo Brown, and scammers the attention they are lacking in their personal and professional lives, or it gives them more attention, making them feel a sense of importance, more needed, more desirable, and a sense of companionship. These women in the community build what they think are strong bonds and friendships over the belief in and defense of pregnancy of years. The women involved in the community ignore the fact that once they decide they aren't pregnant or haven't been pregnant for years, the other women in the community they have grown so close to and made such strong connections with will drop them so quick and even make them an enemy. It's very sad how many women have written to me explaining how they realized they weren't actually pregnant, and when they confided in some of the women in the groups that they were really, really close with, they were attacked and blocked. I feel for these women because it happened to me back in 2016 after my negative ultrasound, which leads me to the next problem. It's not a secret that these cryptic pregnancy support groups do nothing but harm and induce false cryptic pregnancies. In these support groups, it is way more common for the women involved to just leave the groups unannounced due to embarrassment, or at some point they realize that they aren't actually pregnant and they stop posting or commenting. Then it is that these actual women go on to have a secret hidden baby no one could prove. Nobody ever comes back to the groups to announce a legitimate birth with a cryptic baby. They also never prove that their baby's DNA was mutated, making this pregnancy and baby of years physiologically possible in a human. This dangerous belief allows people financial gain with the production of toxic websites, falsified books, like the one we're discussing now, spiritual and medical consultations online where people charge to be told that they are cryptically pregnant, and psychic readings where women give money to psychics to tell them that they are cryptically pregnant. Regardless of the reason, promotion and glamorization of this seemingly harmless delusion that a woman can be pregnant for years with a hidden baby is very dangerous, and I go into detail as to why in a video titled Dangers of Cryptic Pregnancy of Years with a Hidden Baby. Gilmore Foundation and Cryptic Pregnancy Support Groups. I'll link this video in the description if you want more information, but I'll elaborate on a few points here. This erroneous belief makes it harder for women who are actually pregnant but are testing negative in urine to get confirmation via their primary care physician. This belief and book is unsympathetic to bereaved parents and anyone who has experienced early pregnancy loss and stillbirth. This belief and book is cruel to women and couples going through infertility or fertility treatments. This unproven belief and unproven book negatively impacts the fertility of any woman. If she actively wants a baby, falsely believing she is pregnant for any amount of time, changes her body's hormones, making it so that she can't get pregnant, or it makes it harder for her to become pregnant. This fabricated belief and fabricated book supports the illegal activity of paternity fraud. So let's go over a few scenarios. A woman who is unfortunately experiencing infertility is manipulated and extorted into believing she is years pregnant via a fake healer or a midwife. And she is given a baby that is presented as her own biological baby some years later. This baby is not biologically her own or the father's baby, which is illegal adoption and paternity fraud. The man is being lied to and supporting a child that isn't biologically his own child. At the very least, it's immoral, mean, and wrong. Then there's scenario 2, which is emotional paternity fraud scenario. This dangerous book supports both scenarios, but it supports this second scenario even more. A woman is manipulated and deceived online via the cryptic pregnancy support groups, community, and websites into believing that she is experiencing this very rare, odd kind of cryptic pregnancy that is consistently and commonly negative for HCG, as well as being lied to by group members and moderators that the baby won't ever be seen via ultrasound, and therefore the partner or the woman's husband is being misled into believing a child that doesn't exist is real, and so he's financially supporting a woman that isn't actually pregnant and won't actually be birthing his child. He is a victim of this false phantom cryptic pregnancy of years, just as much as the woman who has been involved herself in the groups. So his emotions are being played with because he's expecting that he's going to be having a child. Even if he has to wait years, that's fine, but he's still thinking he's going to have a baby. And these groups, these cryptic pregnancy groups, enable false cryptic pregnancies and false pregnancies. And so if this woman never goes on to have a baby, then this man is waiting for a child that will never be born. It's heartbreaking. So I started editing this video again this morning, and this is what I woke up to. This email, it says, "Hi, Cryptic Pregnancy Truth. We have received a defamation complaint regarding your content, which is the I Found My Stalker. Her book is Crazier Than You Think at Neo Brown Official. This contact has been blocked from view on the following YouTube country sites: United Kingdom." So Neo Brown, aka Abigail Burrowes, decided to file a complaint with YouTube. And she basically got this video blocked from the United Kingdom, which only blocks it from herself. So now she's not able to see the video. So anybody who leaves comments on it from any other country, she won't be able to see them or comment on them because the video doesn't exist to her, but it exists to everybody else. It's only blocked from the UK. So, I mean, I don't really know what that did except make it so that her personal people couldn't see it, like people that she knows in real life, which just goes to show you that she's hiding because the information that she shares, she knows is incriminating, and the book that she wrote, she knows is made up, and that all the things that she's said in it is just her online persona. It's her online personality. It's not who she really is in real life. And this proves it. Why would you file a defamation case with YouTube? Nothing I say on this video is incorrect. I mean, nothing I say on this video, nothing I say on the previous video, everything I say about the book, this is a review of a book, essentially. Everything I say about the book is true. And everything I say about the theories and the things that she believes is true because she wrote them in a book. I mean, there's no way for me to take that. I mean, I'm not making it up. There's no way for her to make it up. She wrote a book of all of her beliefs, and so I'm reviewing a book on her beliefs. Everything I say in both of these videos is completely 100% the truth. I read her book in 3 hours. I mean, anybody can download it and read it for themselves and see that everything that I've said in this video is 100% the truth. So I definitely will be disputing this, as this person, Neo Brown, aka Abigail Burrowes, is lying. She literally left a comment that says, "My book, The Cryptic Pregnancy Files, has flown off the shelves since you made this video." So she's implying that she's been making more money since the publish of this video. And now she put a defamation case. You make up your mind. Either you're being talked about, or you're not being talked about. Either you like it or you don't like it. Abigail, you can't have it both ways. You can't say that this video is making you money, but also hurting your reputation at the same time. It's one or the other. And you doing this and then leaving these comments just shows how ignorant you really truly are. This is 100% the truth. Look at this comment. I'm not making this up. You left this comment all by yourself. Nobody made you leave it. You decided to leave it because you thought it was the good thing to do. I don't know. So this is my legal complaint received to YouTube. I will be disputing this defamation strike against me, because this video needs to be available to the UK. It needs to be available to the people that are in and around Abigail Burrowes, aka Neo Brown. I mean, if this is the information you're presenting to the world as the truth, then shouldn't the people in your immediate lives know about it? Why are you trying to keep it a secret if it's truthful information and information everybody should know about? And it's the doctors that are actually keeping this a secret. Make up your mind. If anything, I thought she would have done a copyright claim, but apparently she doesn't have any of her music copyrighted in order to make that claim. So she did a defamation claim, which is untrue. So with all that in mind, I mean, I know that's a lot, especially with what I just dropped on you with what happened this morning. Let's dive more into this sad excuse for a book. I mean, it hardly even qualifies as a book. It's more of a super long essay. Of course, this is just my opinion and speculation, but I mean, you can read the book for yourself. It only took me 3 hours to read the entire book, so my opinion isn't that far from the truth. I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinion, right? And somebody put this book out there for me to read, and I read it, and this is my opinion on this book. The writer Abigail states, "The ideas in this book are both logical and intuitive. I get the strong sense that the writer, Abigail, is trying to convince herself as well as the reader that this statement could possibly be true. logical and intuitive. It's a sad attempt at manipulating the reader. It makes her seem desperate and unstable. This book is not written well, so it's so hard to follow. At the end of each sentence, the words in brackets are mine. Like she forgot to edit it out. And the spelling errors, I mean, geez. Lady, get an education. The desperation of this writer is so completely obvious that you don't even have to look between the lines to see the twisted delusion behind writing about how a pregnancy of years is possible. And it is the doctor's fault, all doctors around the entire world, that this type of miracle pregnancy isn't acknowledged in medicine. The writer presents this all as a conspiracy, writing about how all doctors are hiding a pregnancy of years. And this is a medical conspiracy, which is actually a delusion. It's a delusion because the writer presents absolutely no proof that all doctors as a whole in the entire world, around the entire world in every single country, are conspiring to keep a special type of pregnancy hidden from public knowledge. I mean, it's just plain stupidity. The writer Abigail's in her self-published book, Information, You Are a Programmed Skeptic, a Fake Human, or a Demon. The writer basically says in her book that if you don't agree with everything that is said in this book, word for word, then you are a programmed or you are a fake human. The writer goes on to say, and I quote, many won't understand this book and will condemn it, but they are just useless programmed skeptics and robots. Oh, this is hilarious. Condemn means doesn't agree with it, Abigail. I know this is hard for your little brain to grasp, but you're degrading any reader who disagrees with the information you present in your self-published garbage book. Abigail, in your book, you can't present it both ways. You can't have a flawed uterus that also allows and promotes this super special and slow-growing baby in pregnancy. You can't do something super special, such as sustaining an abnormally long pregnancy of years, also with a defective organ, such as a uterus that is abnormally shaped or is growth restricted. This is a major contradiction. I mean, you presenting this in your book as this is making a cryptic pregnancy possible is a major contradiction. Also, since when does something taking longer than usual mean it is better and more advanced? I've never heard of anything that is better actually taking longer in any area, let alone development. So the writer says in her self-published book, so the CP equation is, and I quote, feeling pregnant with negative pregnancy tests equals energy loss. Energy loss equals lack of life force for the cryptic pregnancy to become normal. Lack of life force for the cryptic pregnancy to become normal equals extended gestation and negative tests, end quote. If that's the case, where's the miracle in that? Where is the difference in that? This is actually in her book written out as if she has something figured out. The writer Abigail doesn't even realize she's putting her foot in her mouth with this so-called equation. Furthermore, when the ignorant writer states energy loss equals lack of life force for the pregnancy to become normal, this energy force and energy loss the writer speaks about, how can this be measured? Let me save you time. It can't be measured. Who is to say someone is lacking or excelling in this so-called energy force or experiencing energy loss, especially if it cannot be measured? This concept is dumb. Being disappointed that the pregnancy test is negative does not equal energy loss, resulting in experiencing a super long pregnancy. This idea is cruel and damaging to anyone who comes across it. Readers should be aware, and Abigail, you should be ashamed. You are associated with this dangerous misinformation. The writer Abigail is making assumptions about the reader who is reading this book because they are possibly experiencing unexplained symptoms and are thinking they could possibly be related to an undiagnosed pregnancy. That's more than likely why somebody would come across this book. Then telling someone in the book that they need to do energy work for a human baby to be born from their physical body is a dangerous delusion. And the writer should be embarrassed for writing this out for consumers to read. This ideology is the complete opposite of female empowerment. Energy work does not have does not have a physical effect on the physical experience of any pregnancy. This includes any and all pregnancy experience, such as the following: an early positive pregnancy test, a late positive pregnancy test, a never positive pregnancy test, hook effect pregnancy, false/phantom pregnancy. Energy work does not affect cryptic pregnancy, ectopic pregnancy, multiple pregnancy, high-risk pregnancy. Energy work does not affect a hyperemesis gravidarum pregnancy, a symptomless pregnancy, a molar pregnancy, pregnancy scams. Energy work does not affect self-conceived pregnancy, a spiritual pregnancy, a wild pregnancy, or an unconfirmed pregnancy, a pregnancy of years, a hidden pregnancy, a pregnancy of unknown origin. An energy work does not affect a miscarriage or early pregnancy loss. Energy work does not affect any of these conditions whatsoever. Let me repeat. Energy work does not have a physical effect on the physical experience of any kind of pregnancy. Practicing said energy work will not make a hidden pregnancy a seen pregnancy. Practicing energy work will not make your unseen baby a seen baby on ultrasound. Practicing energy work won't make your unconfirmed pregnancy a medically confirmed pregnancy. Practicing energy work does not affect your fertility. It doesn't make an infertile woman fertile again. Energy loss in any interpretation does not affect a pregnancy test result or how long a pregnancy lasts in any capacity. So the writer includes not one, but two equations. Two ways for how a cryptic pregnancy can occur, according to this writer, Abigail, in her malicious book. So let's dive in. And I quote, Cryptic Pregnancy Equation Part 2. Stress from an abusive/toxic relationship during a cryptic pregnancy equals negative energy plus energy loss. Sex with a toxic partner during a cryptic pregnancy equals negative energy plus energy loss. Negative energy plus energy loss equals lack of life force for the cryptic pregnancy to become normal. Lack of life force for the cryptic pregnancy to become normal equals extended gestation and negative tests. This is a cryptic pregnancy's vicious cycle or circle. This is the second major reason a cryptic pregnancy continues, end quote. So according to the writer, if the only thing that makes a cryptic pregnancy is the woman testing negative, then where does this whole becoming normal come into play? Testing negative isn't abnormal. According to this dumb writer, the only thing that makes a cryptic pregnancy is a negative pregnancy test, energy loss, and lack of life force, as she calls it. What the F ever that means. Like I said, the term life force cannot be measured. You cannot measure energy loss. You cannot measure a bad mood. Life force is a concept. Energy loss is a concept. Concept is another word for theory. It isn't something someone can relate to real things such as pregnancy. Pregnancy isn't a theory. It isn't some idea. It is a real condition that can be observed and measured. In pregnancy, things like HCG in urine, HCG in blood, among many other hormones that increase in pregnancy, can be measured in blood. Ultrasound scan and physical palpation of the growing fundus in uterus, as well as the physical palpation of the fetus on the outside of the abdomen. A doctor can do this to verify a pregnancy by just feeling for the fetus on the outside of the mother's stomach. The term life force refers to the spirit of any living thing. In folk belief, it's the vital principle or animating force within any living things. So if the reader follows the writer's advice and tries to increase their life force or do energy work, how do they go about increasing their spirit in terms of a physical condition like pregnancy? How does one do this specifically for life alone, let alone a secret hidden pregnancy doctors say doesn't exist? The writer, Abigail, doesn't even describe or explain how the reader is to do this energy work in detail in her disgusting book. It is written as vague in general statements, as if the reader should already know what the writer means and intends. It's actually quite sad someone actually thinks this book is educational, and it's quite sad that an adult actually wrote this book. So I asked the writer, Abigail, if the only thing that makes a cryptic pregnancy is a negative pregnancy test and disappointment that leads to a bad mood, or as the writer calls it, energy loss, then way more women should be experiencing this super special endless pregnancy. Many women test negative in urine and blood for HCG, and they become upset or sad or disappointed or confused, but days or weeks later, they are confirmed pregnant despite these negative results and disappointment, which the writer calls energy loss, describes it because the baby is seen on ultrasound and she delivers weeks or hours later, and that means the woman was obviously pregnant despite testing negative for HCG in urine and blood and having energy loss due to being disappointed about those negative pregnancy test results. For the writer to say that a cryptic pregnancy is caused by energy loss is so ignorant. I can't even wrap my head around the stupidity of it. If a woman is actually pregnant, it doesn't matter what her mood is in or how she feels. It doesn't matter if she considers herself high energy force or a low energy force. If a woman is actually pregnant, she eventually goes into labor around 37 to 42 weeks gestation and births the baby alive or dead. If a woman is not actually pregnant, it does not matter her mood, how she feels, if she considers herself high energy or low energy. If a woman isn't actually pregnant, she won't go into labor and deliver a baby because there is no baby to birth. And instead, the woman will stay pregnant for years and years and years. Abigail, your stupid book induces false pregnancy experience in your readers. Either that or it infuriates them because of the bold-faced lies you include in your dumb, stupid book. Either way, your book sucks. Your book sucks because you don't even explain how this so-called life force, as you put it, Abigail, how does this so-called life force make the pregnancy test positive? How does this life force all of a sudden make the woman start producing HCG in her blood and urine? I'll answer it for you. It doesn't. A person's spirit or life force has no direct effect on the promotion or production of hormones in the human body for any reason. The writer Abigail implicating that a person's lack of life force will extend their unconfirmed pregnancy is misinformation, deceptive, and taken from some science fiction novel she read somewhere during some point in her life. It's dangerous and it's sad that a person's life force will not extend their unconfirmed pregnancy. The writer of this malicious book intends on making money, not giving someone actually real, sound, trustworthy advice. She just wants to be praised and admired for her secret information. The reader or readers or potential readers would be better off focusing their attention and time to prayer and asking God for a blessed child instead of reading this deceptive, stupidly written garbage book. So that's it for this video. It's gotten quite long, so I figure I'll just do a part 2 and I'll continue with the review of this very dangerous, very evil, malicious, disgusting book. So stay tuned.